Hello everyone, welcome back to our weekly market analysis video with me, Frankie, your market analyst at Markets4U. In today's video, we'll be looking at the key economic events and data releases from March 2nd to March 6th, 2026. I've already set up my screen to display the economic calendar from the traders room at Markets4U. I've set the dates from March 2nd to March 6th, covering this week's important events in GMT. Please remember to adjust to your respective time zones. Let's dive into this week's events. Monday starts with German and Swiss retail sales data, US ISM manufacturing PMI, New Zealand building permits, and Japanese unemployment rate. Tuesday brings Australian building permits and Eurozone inflation figures including both headline and core inflation rates. Wednesday features Australian GDP data, Japanese consumer confidence, Swiss inflation figures, Eurozone PPI and unemployment rate, US ADP employment change, and US ISM services PMI. Thursday includes Australian balance of trade and household spending, Swiss unemployment rate, Eurozone retail sales, and US initial jobless claims. Friday concludes with a major day featuring German factory orders, the crucial US Non-Farm Payrolls data along with the unemployment rate, US retail sales, and Canadian IV PMI. This week's key market-moving events will be Eurozone inflation data on Tuesday, Australian GDP figures on Wednesday, and the US non-farm payrolls on Friday. These releases should create significant opportunities across major pairs. Now, let's go to the technical analysis. This week, we'll focus on the Australian dollar against the US dollar and the euro against the US dollar, as both instruments show similar bullish technical setups heading into key data releases. Let's start with the Australian dollar against the US dollar. Looking at the daily chart, the Australian dollar is currently trading around 0.7114, showing strong bullish momentum. The price is consolidating higher above the 20-day moving average, confirming the upward trend. The stochastic oscillator is moving higher toward the overbought area, indicating strong buying pressure. Looking at important levels, the Australian dollar against the US dollar has support at 0.7037 and 0.6939, while resistance can be found at 0.7192 and 0.7283. Wednesday's Australian GDP data will be crucial for this pair. The quarterly GDP is expected to show growth of 0.8%, up from the previous 0.4%, while the yearly rate is forecast at 2.5%, up from 2.1%. The consolidation higher above the 20-day moving average is a very bullish signal. The stochastic moving toward overbought suggests strong momentum. If Wednesday's Australian GDP data meets or exceeds expectations, it could provide the catalyst for a break toward the 0.7192 resistance level and potentially the 0.7283 level. However, disappointing GDP figures could see the pair pull back toward the 0.7037 support or the 20-day moving average. Now, let's turn to the euro against the US dollar. On the daily chart, the euro-dollar pair is currently trading around 1.1814, showing a similar technical setup to the Australian dollar. The price is consolidating higher around the 20-day moving average, attempting to establish this level as solid support. The stochastic oscillator is moving higher toward the overbought area, indicating growing bullish momentum. Looking at key levels, the euro against the US dollar has support at 1.1694 and 1.1582, while resistance stands at 1.1928 and 1.2042. Tuesday's Eurozone inflation data will be important for this pair. The inflation figures are expected to show a year-over-year rate of 1.7%, unchanged from the previous reading, with a monthly increase of 0.4%. The consolidation around the 20-day moving average is a critical juncture for the euro. The stochastic moving higher toward overbought suggests buyers are in control. A successful hold above the moving average, combined with inline or lower Eurozone inflation data on Tuesday, could support a move toward the 1.1928 resistance level. However, Friday's US non-farm payrolls will be the key event. Strong US jobs data could strengthen the dollar and push the euro toward the 1.1694 support level. Both instruments could see considerable volatility this week. Traders should be particularly cautious during Tuesday's Eurozone inflation release, Wednesday's Australian GDP figures, and Friday's US non-farm payrolls, as these events can cause sudden spikes in volatility and potential gap risks. Remember, always manage your risk carefully and never invest more than you can afford to lose. That's it for this week's analysis. See you in the next video.